First, I'd like to thank the grace of heaven, virtues of masters, the mercy of our grand predecessor, the predecessors, all transmitters, and every one of you for giving me this opportunity to learn to speak in today's handwriting for the IA Dharma class on June the 2nd. Okay? Is it? Oh, June. Yeah, June the 2nd. So in this Dharma class, it was held at Auburn Union Park Lodge Provisional Temple. It's a temporary temple. It is not a permanent temple. So every Dharma class, they rent the space for these 2 days. Okay. So of course, the Buddha that comes down to do the handwriting is Santian Zukao, examiner of the 3 realms. 3 realms meaning absolute heaven, the realm of the temporal heaven, and this earthly realm. Okay, so he says sincerely inviting Buddhas and saints to instruct. The first line of this handwriting is the righteous, awe-inspiring demeanor is not in the sound and forms. So this righteous, awe-inspiring demeanor is part of the 5 constant virtues. Okay, so that righteousness in us is innate, it's inborn. It is not in the forms on the outside. We all have this conscience within each all of us, and that conscience is our Buddha nature. So when that inherent and perfect wisdom conscience is manifested, then all the 5 constant virtues will be expressed. So this righteousness is that righteousness. Okay, it's all innate in each one of us. Okay, it is not in the sound, in the forms. We cannot find that in all the forms in this outside world. Okay, not in our 5 senses, not in the materialistic forms. So these forms are all fake and not lasting, and we all know that it is an illusion. So what we follow and focus is our Buddha nature, which is everlasting. So in order to reach enlightenment, we must get rid of all these desire for forms. Conforming to the will of heaven, the principles must be profound. We must follow God's will. Okay, God's will is to ferry all sentient beings to the other shore. We must learn the ways of the saints and Buddhas by doing heaven's work. Heaven's work is to learn about the Tao, to cultivate, to practice, to teach, and to propagate the Tao. So we must also continuously earn merit and establish virtues without hesitation, just like all the saints and Buddhas in the past. We must have a deep understanding of the principles for us to practice and teach other sentient beings. Okay. We have Sunday classes like we are in right now today. We have sutras. We have scriptures from the Buddhas. We have many books that we can study from, so to have a deeper understanding of this Tao. Within the daily life, there is a great deal of homework. So in each one of our lives, we have a lot of things to learn and many things to do. So we must practice what we have learned in the temple, okay, practice the principles in the outside world. That's our homework. Okay. For example, mostly in our daily life, we all know that we must be filial to our parents, right? Not only to our parents, we also must get along and love and be kind to our siblings. That is also considered filial, because when you think about it, if we get along with our siblings and we are kind and loving towards each other, our parents will be so happy. Okay, so it's not only affecting the family, it is also most important to our parents. All parents want everyone in the family to get along with each other, to love each other. That will bring out peace and harmony within the family. Okay. Our homework also includes getting along with all our co-workers, getting along with our bosses, okay? Be able to express that 5 constant virtues in all our dealings with people, okay? That is also our homework. Selfless and with no demands, one can naturally be in the state of the mean and harmony. So in cultivation, we must get rid of that I, that ego. Okay? Whatever we do, it is only for the benefit of all sentient beings. We have to be selfless, and we perform without any request or demand from anything or anyone. Okay? So that is, we perform without any motives. Okay? One can naturally be in the state of the mean and harmony. Then life will naturally be in balance. Life will be in peace and in harmony. Okay? Yes.
Okay, are you done with this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the 中和 is actually from the doctrine of the mean. It sounds a little abstract in the state of mean and in the mean. Actually, that this are 2 words, 中 and 和. 中 means like in the middle or in the middle way or moderation or the mean. According to Zhongyong, we all have different kinds of emotions. But if we let out that emotion that it's against the Tao or against the propriety, then we try to kind of put it at check, put it at bay. That's called zhong. But then if sometimes we express our sentiments or emotions, for example, once parents pass away, yes, the person will certainly be very heartbroken. But again, we don't express the emotion to the extreme. Then that's called harmony. Just do things within the context of propriety and righteousness, or instead of 5 constant virtues. That's called harmony.
Yeah, not to any of the extreme.
Yeah.
Okay, stay in the middle path. Okay, then everything will be in balance. Then peace and harmony will come. Okay, and then we will have less worries and less stress. Okay, so
also in the past we have a story from the ancient China time. There's a person who went to the imperial tests and he scored very high. He was so happy, he was overjoyed, and guess what? They put him to death. So any kind of emotions expressed in the extreme, it's not good for our virtue and not good for our health either. So as cultivator, we know this, so we have to always bear in mind that try to be in a state of calm and peacefulness.
doesn't mean that we can't mourn for them. Okay, so deep in our heart and mind, we still think they are so precious to us. Okay, and we miss them and we love them, but we don't express it cry constantly 24/7. Then that will be too extreme. Okay, and then it will cause harm to our body. Okay, yes, Joe.
And also you still need to move on. You still need to move on to your daily lives.
Yeah.
It's important that you don't just cry 24/7.
Yeah, because we have our family to take care of. We have our duties in life to take care of. We cannot just abandon them and just cry into bed. Okay, that's what a lot of people do, but that's not the norm. So stay in the middle path. Okay, there's still life. Okay, that we must handle. We just have to, go past it. Time will do a lot of healing for us. Okay, but still, okay, we must perform our duties in society. Any questions? Okay. So I am chief examiner of the 3 realms. By God's decree, I enter the temple and make obeisance to God. Brothers and sisters, how are you? Be calm and still and wait for your brother to speak. So as lecturer Tai and transmitter Jin already explained in the past couple of weeks with the sand writing, examiner of the three realm always pay obeisance to God, to pay respect to God. Just like we come into the temple, we pay obeisance to God with the arrival propriety. This is the same meaning. And he always announced who he is, okay? So this is the same with every sand writing. The Tao has spread in every country to promote benevolence and morality, to transform this human world. So since our grand predecessor propagated the Tao from mainland China to Taiwan, now it is propagated all over the world. Okay. So today humans are very corrupt. Okay. So now the Buddhas want to restore decency, morality, virtues, okay, back into this materialistic world, because everybody is pursuing what? Fame and fortune and whatever material wants they want, right? So with these desires, okay, some people don't understand what is right and what is wrong, okay, and they will do anything, even evil things, to have their own personal gain. So that is why today God wants to spread the Tao in every country to promote morality and virtues in order to transform this human world back to an upright world, okay? And hopefully one day for this world to become Confucius' aspiration of world harmony, okay? Holy Gospel is broadcast in the great universal salvation. Do not flinch in carrying on the will of Holy Teacher. So we have the universal salvation of the three realms. We have the temporal heaven, this earthly realm, and the underworld, where the devas from the temporal heaven, humans from this earthly realm, and spirits from the underworld can also receive the Tao, okay? By someone in this earthly realm that has affinity with them, they can uplift their spirits into the absolute heaven. Okay, all saints and Buddhas right now have descended into this physical world to help in the propagation of Tao. Our holy teacher wants us to continue his objectives to save all sentient beings, and for us to keep progressing and learning in the Tao, and don't ever regress or backstep, okay? Work quietly for sentient beings. We want to be a living Buddha in this human world. Again, everything we do in this Tao is for the benefit of sentient beings. Okay, we continue to do this quietly. We don't need to announce it or brag about it, because the Tao is very quiet and subtle, okay? It's not like being advertised or being forced, okay? So we must continue to do this. And we want to be a living Buddha in this human world. When we cultivate ourselves, we are already all living Buddhas, because we all have this Buddha nature inside each one of us, okay? So when we practice and manifest that virtue, we are all living Buddhas. Just like Holy Teacher called us, what? Little Jigong Buddha, right? So we are all little Jigong Buddhas. Do not fear hardships nor defeat. Only by bearing responsibilities can one be considered extraordinary. As cultivators, we cannot be afraid of hardships or defeats. When we encounter obstacles, we must face them, okay, and deal with it. Don't be afraid to face our obstacles. We should all have determination and perseverance to overcome them. With a positive mindset, we can overcome anything, okay? Just like water. When water is flowing down, when they come across a big rock, right, they cannot flow backwards because they keep flowing down. So what do? They flow around that big rock, okay, and just continue on. That's how we have to face obstacles in our life. We're all going to face it, okay, because life, this is a relative world. There's good and bad in everybody's life, no matter how young and no matter how old, okay. So we must learn to face it, deal with it, don't run away from it, because that problem will still be there. Face it, deal with it, find a solution for it, and overcome it, okay. So only by bearing responsibilities can one be considered extraordinary. So we all have responsibilities and we must all bear them, okay. When given a task, we cannot delegate that responsibility to somebody else, nor can we perform that responsibility half done, okay. Then we are not doing our job, and that is very foolish and unreliable. The next time there is a task, that responsibility will no longer be delegated to us because that trust is no longer there, okay. So we must bear all responsibilities. Be humble and amiable in no way makes one appear weak. Do more good deeds and say good words. To be humble and kind is a very big virtue. This definitely does not make us look very weak. Okay. So when this virtue is manifested, we will gain respect and admiration from others. Being humble is one of the 15 precepts that we must follow as a cultivator. Do more good deeds and say good words. Anything that we do that can benefit sentient beings are considered a good deed, even a simple smile. So when we want to change somebody's mood, just give them a simple smile. That is already a good deed, and we don't have to even try. Okay, it should be natural. So and that also becomes a chain reaction to other people. We must say good words. Holy Teacher says, before we say anything, we must first think to ourselves, whatever I'm about to say, okay, will the Buddhas be saying these words too? If the answer is yes, then we can say it. But if that answer is no, we should not say it, because then it will harm and hurt the person listening to us, okay? So that becomes a karma. So be careful what we say to other people. Always say kind words and say good things. Always praise other people, and not to what's the other word? Scold them or say nasty things to them. Okay? Do not take anger out on others. Do not repeat the same mistakes. Emulate sages and virtuous people and become a role model. Cultivators should first work and get rid of their tempers, okay, and know how to control it. When we take anger out on others, we are causing a bad karma. The Buddha always say, treat other people with respect and kindness. If we take that anger on others, we will no longer, when we take that anger out on others, it will be no different than taking it out on the Buddhas, because we all have a Buddha nature inside of us. When you confront and argue with somebody or yell at somebody, you are yelling at the Buddha. So keep that in mind, okay? Because when we are about to get upset, we all have to calm our heart and mind, okay? And maintain our composure before we open our mouth. Don't let our mouth control us, okay? We must always be composed and calm. So this way we don't release that anger so fast, okay? When we know we are about to get angry, we can, like in our mindset, we can say, calm down, don't get angry. That's how I tend to do it. So in time, you will learn to control it more. So you don't immediately yell at somebody for no reason, okay? Because once those words come out, you can never take it back. and regrets will follow. And you will have sleepless nights worrying about what you just said. Like Jesus says, treat others the way we would want to be treated. This is all the same. Okay? Do not repeat the same mistakes. As humans, it is natural to make mistakes. But also don't be afraid to make mistakes because we can learn from them. Okay? Because we're still humans, otherwise we would be Buddhas already. However, once we make a mistake, we must learn from it and we must not repeat the same mistake twice. Just like Yan Hui, Confucius' disciple. He never repeat the same mistake twice. Once he make a mistake, he self-reflect. Where did I go wrong? What did I do? So this way, it will be set into his mind and he will no longer make the same mistake and repeat it. Okay? Emulate sages and virtuous people and become a role model. We should follow the Buddhas, the sages, and virtuous people in the way they reach enlightenment and in the way they deal with people. Okay, all these saints and Buddhas used to be humans in their past life, and today millions of people worship them. So we have to learn and emulate them. They are our role model. And when we follow them, we are also setting examples for the people that come after us. So we will become their role models. Okay, so that's why it's very important to not only learn from Buddhas and saints and also learn from virtuous people. When we see someone has a good quality that manifests their virtues, we should say, oh, I should do that too. Okay, so this is how we emulate them. Okay, follow the good of the others, but not the faults of the others. Okay. Let our Buddha nature shine brightly. Tao is broad, principles are profound and subtle. Think it through mutually with each other. Let our Buddha nature guide us in everything we do, in every action, in every word. Okay. And they all must be in accordance to our Buddha nature. The more we use our Buddha nature, the brighter it will become. So what we should do is to let our Buddha nature be our master and not let our senses be controlling us. Okay? The Tao is broad, principles are profound and subtle. Think it through mutually with each other. Tao encompasses everything in the entire universe, so it is very, very broad. It cannot be described in words. We can only briefly, describe it to other people. The principles are very deep and subtle. There may be some underlined meaning or hidden meanings within each principle. So in order to understand it better from different point of views, we should learn from other people, discuss it, learn from each other, okay? That's how we can have a better understanding of all the principles. Because everybody sees things differently. So everybody reacts to all the scriptures and all the sutras differently. Okay, because there are many, many hidden meanings behind the principles. So learn from each other. In our 4 modes of conduct, walking, standing, sitting, and lying down, be mindful to conform to the golden mean, doctrine of the mean. Okay, like Virginia mentioned before, this golden mean or this doctrine of the mean is the middle path. Do not go in any extreme, okay? So no matter what we do in life, whether we are walking, standing, sitting, or lying down, we must conform to this middle path. For example, let's take a child. If we raise a child by spoiling them too much, okay, we are actually hurting this child. Because later on in life, they have to deal with society. They have to deal with other people in society. at their job, with their friends, okay, when they have their own immediate family, right? So everything is taught and learned from a very young age. So when this child is spoiled and they grow up and demand everything, in life they're going to do the same thing. They will demand and have everything his way or her way or no way, right? So we are hurting them, okay? And we don't want that. So what do? Okay, we stay in the middle path. So if we go to the other extreme, instead of spoiling them, we will be too strict with them. What's going to happen? Let's picture a child and the parent is constantly setting rules and regulations, and you can't do this, you can't do this. You must study and study and study. That's all you do. Study, study, study. Eat and go back to your schoolwork. Every free day you have, every weekend you must go to attend all these extracurricular study courses, not activities, study courses, okay? It's all studying. No game, no play, no enjoyment, nothing. Just study. So one day when they grow up, okay, they cannot wait to what? Get into a college that is the furthest away from home. The furthest away, so the parents cannot fly there because it's too expensive or too far, or the parents cannot drive them and visit them, okay? And what do they do there? They will try each and every single thing they were not permitted to do. Okay, I know because I spoke to several people about this. They try everything, drugs, everything, you can name it. Okay, because they're enjoying themselves now. They are free. This is how freedom comes to them. Okay, so that is why never go to an extreme. Stay in the middle path. When it's time to be straight, we be straight. When it's time to let loose, let loose. Okay, yes, Johnny.
Yeah, well, besides the freedom, I think later on what will happen is sort of reject or their parents afterwards. So it's not such a good thing.
Yeah.
So we go right back to the middle.
Yeah. They will still demand from the parents for life. Okay, if they don't have money, they will still get it from the parents. Okay, so don't spoil them and don't be too strict with them. Stay in the middle. Okay, that's how important this middle path is, because it has balance and stability. Okay, so always stay within the golden mean. Remove the shackles of names and forms. By understanding the principles, one will no longer pursue them. Okay? People in general all chase after fame and fortune and power, right? The more they have, the more they want. Okay, it's endless. So these endless pursuits are like poisons. Okay, causes sufferings and hardships and difficulties in our life. And one is constantly searching for it. Okay, even though it causes miseries and worries and stress, and it's also bad for the health. Okay, but when one understands the principles and one will no longer pursue them, okay, this is where the Tao comes in, right? By learning, understanding, and practicing the principles, then one will no longer chase after these material pursuits. Okay, be content with what we have. Put that extra time and energy into the Tao, okay? Rather than wasting our time in searching for names and forms that wasn't meant to be. The people that are rich today, okay, because they were meant to be rich. Because they probably performed many good deeds in their past lifetime. So today they are rewarded, okay? However, if we are not meant to have it, no matter how much we pursue it, we will still not have it. So we will be wasting a lot of time and energy. Just be happy and content with what we have. At least we have what? Clothes on our back, roof over our head, food on the table. Okay? That's all we need. Just be happy with what we have. Look at some people that are homeless. They sleep in the streets. They have no roof over their head. They have no food to eat. Okay? So just consider us as one of the lucky ones and one of the people that are blessed. Be content with what we have. Don't pursue things that we're not meant to have. Okay? And don't compare. Do not ever compare our life with a rich, famous person. Comparing is endless. It's so much suffering in there. Okay? So if you're comparing, you might as well compare with the people in Africa who has nothing to eat. Then we are very rich. Okay, so that's how we compare. Don't compare ourselves to the people that has everything. Okay, compare ourselves to the people that has nothing. Then we are very fortunate and blessed. Be able to see through gains and losses. Sages and wise ones comply with predestined affinity without attachments. Gains and losses exist in everyone's life. It not only means gains and losses in terms of money. Okay, these are all the ups and downs that we have in life. Okay? So when we encounter them, whether it's emotional or physical hardship, okay, we must be able to see through it as temporary. This is only temporary. It will be better tomorrow. Okay. It's only temporary. It's not going to last forever. The better days are yet to come. Okay, so see through all this. Sages and wise ones comply with predestined affinity without attachments. Okay, we all have to learn and accept all these obstacles that we encounter, and all accept that this is our predestined affinity. Okay, what we have today, what problems we have to deal with today is all from the past life. Okay, so we should not complain about it, and we just let go, accept it, let go, and move on. And we also have to accept it happily, not just accept it angrily or bitterly. Must accept it happily, deal with it, and let go. Okay, say. The beautiful times of youth will easily pass by. Brothers and sisters may want to live a good full life. Okay, we all want to stay young and youthful forever, right? That's the best time in life. No worries, no stress, not much problems that we have to deal with. However, life passes by quickly. Okay. The older we get, the more sufferings we will have to deal with. Well, we can still move around. We cherish this time and opportunity to learn and cultivate ourselves, to learn to cultivate and to practice and to propagate this Tao. Okay, don't waste any time. If we do spend the time in enjoying life, having fun. Now it's the summertime, we have the beaches, we have the parks, we have the amusement parks to go to. Okay, these are all waste of time. Okay, it's not that we can't go. Once in a while we can still go, but not every single free time that we have. Then we will be wasting our life away. Okay, so that's why we have to perform good deeds and to ferry sentient beings. Okay, so when we perform good deed, when it's time for us to leave, we will have no regrets when we leave this world, because we have lived a very meaningful life, just like the Buddhas. Okay, and then when we go back to heaven, there will be some position for us. Okay, we're not going back empty-handed. That's what regrets mean. We have performed some meaningful merits in this world. So with this, we can bring it back to heaven. So that is what living a good full life means. Not to live a good full life of enjoyment and wasting ourselves away. Okay? Together, you and I will develop future prospects. True cultivation and practices creates one lotus flower in us. The Buddha says, as cultivators, we do heaven's work and help Buddhas in the propagation of Tao to save sentient beings. On the day we receive this blessing, this Tao, we all each were giving a lotus flower in heaven. Whether that flower will blossom or wilt, it depends on us. The more we add water, the more we add nourishment, it will blossom. That water and the nourishment is what? Is our good deeds and our merits that we perform in this world. Okay? So the more we do, the bigger our flower will be. If we don't do, that flower will wilt and have worms in it. Okay? So those who cultivate and practice conform to God's will do what we are supposed to do, will produce a beautiful full bloom lotus flower. Okay, so always keep that in mind. So we must work to get that flower blossomed. As long as we are cultivating and helping heaven, the Buddhas will always be next to us. When we cultivate and help heaven to do what we are supposed to do, so that with a sincere heart and mind, whenever we have any problems, we do not need to ask the Buddhas and the saints for help. Okay? There will always be a Buddha next to us as long as we practice what we learn. Okay? And we sincerely practice without motives. When we come across obstacles, the Buddhas will turn big problems into medium problem to small problem without you even asking, God, please help me. Okay? It becomes natural. So anytime something happened and you say, wow, that's unbelievable, that means what? The Buddhas are giving you a helping hand. Okay? So we all must be grateful to the Buddhas for helping us. They are always watching over us. The three talents act as humans, heaven and earth. We should stand firmly on the ground amid heaven and earth. In the Saturn writing, there are three talents. There is a talent that represents heaven. That is the talent that is holding that wooden pen to write on the sand box, right? That is heaven. The talent that represents earth is the talent that is reading what the Buddha wrote on the sand. And the talent that represents human is the talent that is recording it on paper. Okay. So those are the three talents, and we should stand firmly on the ground amid heaven and earth. Standing firmly on the ground means as cultivators, we have to do good in everything. Okay, we have to be pure, to be honest, a very dignified person, because we now represent Tao. Okay? We have to act in accordance with our Buddha nature in everything we do, in our conduct, in our behavior, in our action, and always in our speech. We let our Buddha nature guide us, and then we cannot go wrong. That means standing firmly on the ground. Okay.
So the beginning part is actually not referring. Well, I mean, it can refer to the three talents, but it's referring to. I mean, we are part of the three talents.
Yeah.
Humans, right? As humans have
okay.
Right? Yeah, we are. So that's why the second part. We have to stand
the
firmly,
sometime,
between heaven and earth. We are kind of
We're
the
like
bridge
the link.
or the link.
The link, yeah.
We are connected.
We're very important.
Yeah.
I mean, the humans.
Okay.
So that's why, human is being a human being.
Oh,
This
okay.
is referring to us, that we are humans, right? So that
Right.
we are.
So we are the three talents, not we act
Yeah,
as
yeah,
three
yeah,
talents.
yeah.
Okay.
You're
So it
part-
should be
you're part-
changed
part
to
of
we
it.
are the three
Part of it.
talents.
Yeah, I changed it to.
You changed it, right? Yes, Joe.
I was going to mention, human is part of the three talents.
Yeah.
It's because the heaven and earth, they can't speak. They need a human to speak for them.
Right. Because we are the link
Yes.
between heaven and earth. Okay.
Maybe after stand, we should also act like stand tall.
Well, 顶天立地 means you have to be a gigantic stature of indomitable spirit. That means you have to be like a Buddha.
Yeah,
Be-
act your
you can
part.
say that. Be what you really are, which is we're all Buddhas.
Live up to the
Yeah,
role.
yeah, we are all actually Buddhas, right? So that means we have to help people, we have to be selfless, all of that. That's the in Dharma, we have to help people, save people, guide people, have the four immeasurable minds, all that. That is, be a great person. In other words, in short, say, be a great, good person.
So we're
That's it.
doing what Buddha said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Be a Buddha. Be a Buddha, because be what we really are.
Live up to our,
Yeah.
our potential,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we really are. We're supposed
So
to be
that means
Buddhas.
we should be like Buddha, in essence. I mean, that's what we should be like.
Okay. Any more? Okay. Turn away from the dust. Tune in with our awareness. Correct bad habits. Understand our root and restore our original self to see our true Buddha
That
nature.
translation is too literal. Too literal. 被层. That 和解 is two parts, okay? So the first part, 被层 means to relinquish the material realm.
Tight.
To relinquish, 放下, to turn your back, literally it means to turn your back to the dust, that's true. Turn your back, but this 层 means the world, the material world, the saha world, the sapo, right? Previously, the sapo jian, right?
Yes.
Sapo jian, okay, that's the material. Then 和解, right? Now, 和 literally means to you can say be harmonious, but in this case, it means 融合, to be at one with what? 觉, our Bodhi nature, our Bodhi mind. To be at one with our true nature, our Buddha nature, whatever. Be at one. Be at one. Okay? Or 常住真心, same thing. 常住直心, same idea. Okay? That's from the Surangama Sutra. Okay? Alright? So that means if we have to relinquish, 放下, give up, let go of this material realm, and what? Be at one with our Buddha nature,
Buddha
our
nature.
true nature, right? And then we have to what? Obviously, correct, get rid of our evil, our bad stuff, our bad things, our bad habits, bad thoughts, all that thing. Okay, we have to get rid of it. All right. And then then the second half is we have to realize the source, the source, right? And return. You can say realize, restore. You can say restore to ourselves, to our original nature, all right? And then we can then see our true self, our Buddha nature, our Rula, our Tathata, right?
Okay, so that's explained. He said what I was going to say anyway, so he explained it. I'm not going to repeat it. We are fortunate to pay obeisance to God today. This cultivation progression class has been set up for us. So we are very fortunate today that we have this 2-day Dharma class to pay respect to God. Okay, and this Dharma class was held for everybody's benefit, not only by the people in the temple, but also by heaven. Without heaven's permission, this Dharma class cannot be held. Okay. There was great love in the giving of seniors. The classes to let us understand the principles. Okay, the seniors had lectured the classes for 2 full days. So by doing that, they show great compassion and great love to the members by explaining all the different principles so everybody can understand clearly. The staff members treat us with sincerity. We must maintain infinite gratefulness in our heart and mind. Of course, there are many staff members in each Dharma class who are here to serve the members, to make sure everything is going well with them, that they are happy to stay for the full 2 days, okay? So their time and effort was to truly serve the members earnestly. So this is all volunteer work, okay? They don't have to do that. They volunteer their time, their energy to come and help out in the Dharma classes. Instead of going out to the beach or having picnics in the park or enjoying their family time, instead they will put that aside and come to these 2-day Dharma class. So we all must have a very thankful and grateful heart and mind because of their dedication to us. Okay. Years and months passes quickly without mercy. Know the principles and truly cultivate without doubts. Time passes very fast. So time does not wait for people. So we all must cherish this time that we are still able to perform, to learn and know the principles, to really cultivate ourselves and practice every day. Okay. Don't have any doubts or uncertainties about this Tao. Every second, every minute that we have doubts, we are actually slowing ourselves down and wasting our time. Okay, so we must progress ahead and keep moving on. Follow the Tao path steadfastly. Be confident in your goals and aspirations without hesitation. Follow this Tao path persistently and consistently. All the saints and Buddhas in the past had done it, so we must follow their ways. Set up our goals and aspirations and be confident and assured without any hesitation and uncertainties, no matter what difficulty and hardships that we have to encounter. We have to overcome it, and then will be a stronger cultivation, just like all the past saints and Buddhas. Elder brother undertakes Buddhan duty to bring writing brush dipped in red ink. Merits and demerits have been clearly noted and recorded. So the examiner of the three realms calls himself as our elderly brother because he went back to heaven when he was a very young person. So his obligated duty is to record merits and demerits during the Dharma class with a red brush dipped in red ink. So the Buddha says that it has been already recorded, okay, clearly recorded. Strictly adhere to the rules and regulations of the temple and do not disobey. Follow the ceremonies and proprieties properly and do not go astray. Rules and regulations in the temple must be strictly followed. We should not look at them lightly. It is very important that we all learn, and they are to be followed. This also applies to all the ceremonies and proprieties in the temple. These must be followed strictly. This is the way heaven does it, and this is the way we have to do it as humans, okay? So that when we return back, we will know exactly what to do, because once we go back, there's no one up there that will be able to teach us. My simple would stop at this point. I will no longer judge. Good results will be presented to God, and God will be content. So Buddha says this handwriting stops here, and he will no longer record our merits and demerits. He says that he has good results to present to God, and God will be very pleased and happy with all the members in the Dharma class.
No, he's still recording.
He's still recording?
But he stopped writing here.
He said he stopped writing for now.
Oh, okay.
At
He's
this
still
point, at this
recording.
point.
Oh, yeah, because this is the beginning of the Dharma
He
class.
said
Yeah,
he
I'm sorry.
stopped at this point. Yeah, he stopped at
Yeah,
this
just
point.
at that point. Okay.
So, maybe if anybody don't know, maybe you should explain what the recording is, what he's recording.
He's recording our merits and demerits.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
if
whether
we...
or not we're following the
Whether we are following
paying
the... Yeah.
attention, or paying attention, daydreaming.
Or thoughts in our mind that's
napping.
not proper.
Yeah, all that.
All that stuff.
All that stuff.
So even in this class, we were being recorded, so be careful. Okay. So don't have improper thoughts in your heart and mind. Be aware of them constantly. If it is, immediately change it to a good thought. Okay. And pay attention. Okay. Any questions or any other comments? Lecturers? Any corrections?
This is pretty straight.
Okay. So I thank all of you for your time and your attention. If I said anything wrong or I did not do the translations properly, I ask God and all the saints and Buddhas for their forgiveness. Thank you.
One.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So we have about 2 minutes before the break. So,
There are the 4 modes of conduct that I'd like to add a little bit detail.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's 行住坐卧, so it's like walk. We have to walk like the wind, meaning we have to have the vitality, be dynamic. And then stand. When we stand, we should be straight and what do you call?
Do not slouch.
Yes, not.
Watch your posture.
No.
It's just like a pine.
Be
stand
hunched.
like a
Like
pine.
a pine tree.
Yeah, straight,
Straight
upright,
upright.
like a pine tree.
Yeah.
That's in Buddhism. They give
all
us those
inspired.
four,
Don't
Yeah.
slouch.
the
Don't
four, metaphors, the four metaphors.
And then the third one is when
Walk
we
like the
sit,
wind.
we should sit like
In
a bell.
Stand like a tree.
The
Like
bell
that.
is also very straight.
When we sit.
Then ink brush.
And the last one is when we lie down on bed, should be
recline.
like a bowl.
Yeah, like a bowl. Yeah, bowl, like a bowl. It's an arch. It's an arch. You arch your back because your spine is arched. You know, it's not straight. Our spine is, you know, it's an S curve. It's like an S curve.
When the baby in the mother.
Yeah, it's like a
That's
womb.
how-
Yeah.
So you do that on your side or on your back?
That's how holy teacher said that's how we should be
No,
sleeping.
Buddha, when he reclined,
On the
he
side.
reclined
On the side,
Yeah.
like
On the right,
like
just-
what do you call
Yeah,
that?
like
the
fetal
baby.
position.
What do you call the baby in the womb?
fetal position.
Yeah, in the fetal position.
No,
How come he knows?
you could see the four Buddha postures. They have temples where they have the standing Buddha, the sitting Buddha, the walking Buddha, or whatever, the strolling Buddha, and then the reclining Buddha. You know that? They have those temples in, I think in either India, Myanmar, and Thailand. They have those. You could go to those temples. They have the reclining Buddha, the standing Buddha, etc. So you're supposed to stand like straight, upright, basically stand upright. You know, like a stand as tall like a tree, like the, you know, like the pine trees, like the what do you call it, the sequoia, yeah, the sequoia, straight and tall, and then walk like the wind, because then you're steady, strong, force. You have a force, forceful. Walk like the wind. These are metaphors. Metaphors.
Because you're representing
Sit-
the Tao right now.
sit
Everything has to be
like,
upright.
I don't know how it's
That's
spelled.
why
Sit
we
like a
got to
bell.
look
Yeah,
at it.
bell.
Or the
that
clock,
means-
not the clock, bell. Like in the bell.
Yeah, the bell, the
temple.
bell, the bell, B-E-L-L, right, like the bell, like the, liberty. I don't know why they say sit like bell, because that means you have to
You're
be
very firm.
very
Yeah, I mean,
firm, right.
You're stable.
Very
Yeah.
steady, very, unmoving, immovable.
Like a mountain.
No, immovable, yeah. And then, and then recline like a bowl.
Actually, when Buddha passed away, he was also showing in
Yes.
his mind.
Yeah, he was reclined, yeah. He was head facing north, right? Head, his head is towards the north. I think he's facing west. 西来是 when he's facing the west, or something like that. I forgot.
Did he get cremated or buried?
Cremated.
That was the
I think in the old days, all
Yeah, so
the
that's why we have his relics. His relics.
Yeah.
They have relics. They separate his relics to the different. They send it to different monasteries or stupas. Those are the.
I want to thank the grace of heaven, virtue of master, mercy of transmitters, and confidence placed by all of you for the opportunity to learn to explain the scripture by holy teacher in Iowa. Before I started my scripture, I'd like to kind of point out to our relatively new class members, such as Joseph. If you, because this scripture were done in Chinese, and if you understand Chinese, that you will realize that they are very carefully composed, because there's always a rhyming structure, a rhyming scheme at the end of each sentence. In the Zen writing and also in the formal scripture, they all end in the same sound, like ke.
Right.
Yeah. And so only Buddha has that kind of with the kind of capability to do so, on the scene, on the spot. So just want to point out to you, this aspect of the linguistic aspect of the scripture.
So the English is not totally accurate.
Huh?
Well, the English is not rhyming, but
It doesn't rhyme. It's
But
not
the Chinese
It's
is.
not poetry.
Yeah.
Nice to what
And actually, if you read the
It's poetry.
different parts of the Zen writing, there are two different parts. Each part has its own rhyming scheme. Yeah, so considering that, it's really very unusual, very, very outstanding. Okay, so I'm going to learn to explain the scripture by Holy Teacher. So the first, it goes, turning away from the evil and following the virtuous is a lesson to learn in life. This is all, you can say, basic that we should do, because we all have our own. The evil here not necessarily means something vicious, very bad, but it can also mean some of the bad habits that we have, some of the demerits or faults that we have. But if we don't change our bad habits, if we don't get rid of our faults, or sometimes even ill will, and try to do good things, do virtual things, say good words, and think good thoughts, then there's no talk of cultivation. So this is something very basic. Okay, it's a basic lesson that we have to do if we want to seriously cultivate the Tao to attain the perfect enlightenment. Yeah, because when we have that the thought, a good thought, then we already create a very good magnetic field around us, and people can tell it. If we have a lot of people who have the same good thoughts, who thinks positively, then you can feel that the atmosphere is very conducive to our health and also to our mood and to our cultivation. On the other hand, if there are a lot of people who have visual thoughts, who have bad thoughts, then you can feel that the atmosphere is not right. Just like when in 2015, there was that big earthquake in Nepal. That really followed a big massacre, because there was a holiday that Nepal pay respect to their gods, and one way to express their gratitude is that they kill a lot of oxes, all kinds of animals to offer to their gods. A lot of sacrifices. So we have to be very mindful of our thoughts and our conducts. We try to really get rid of all kinds of bad thoughts. Okay, but even if sometimes they kind of just surface. That's what we call the wandering mind, right? 就是杂念哈，杂念，wandering minds. That's because of our karma from the past. We quickly be aware of it and then let it go at that point. And we should not only do this to ourselves, we should also help others do the same thing. Okay. So that's the mindset of a Buddha, the mindset of an enlightened being. At this point, I'd like to share with you a story of between Buddha and his cousin. His cousin's name is Devadatta. He was considered in Pali Tipikata as his greatest enemy.
That's the brother of Ananda, right? Older brother.
Also. That was before the this copper. Buddha was like a monkey in that that copper, and Devadatta, he was a hunter. So once the hunter fell into the valley, and so this monkey saw that he was suffering, that he was in such danger, and he wanted to save the monkey wanted to save this hunter, and so the monkey did. Okay, and then because a hunter kill by trade, right? So this monkey was thinking that I hope after I save him, he's not going to treat me as his meal. Okay, because as the story goes, the monkey who was it was one of the incarnation of the Buddha. He wanted to become a Buddha, so he always demand of himself or itself to have that mercy for all living beings. Yeah. So in spite of the potential danger that he might be eaten, he still saved Buddha. So when he saved the hunter. So when he got the hunter out of the valley onto the higher ground, he was like thinking to himself that I hope my act of kindness would also inspire the kindness in the hunter. But the opposite was true. The hunter had been hungry, for days, at the bottom of the valley. So now on this higher ground, there's nothing to eat. So guess what? He picked a rock and hit the monkey. And the monkey was so merciful. He was kind of hit off guard, right? So he became he was killed. And I guess this is also part of the karma between Buddha and Devadatta. So we know that later on, Devadatta tried to kill Buddha twice, but every time both times his attempt failed, because one time he was trying to throw a rock at Buddha, but the rock kind of broke into pieces before it even hit Buddha. This is one of the instances. So we always have to have that bear in our mind good thoughts. When we have that kindness, when we have that kind considerations for other people, they can tell, they can sense that kind of energy around us. Second one, abolishing forms and attachment is a skill to acquire in dog cultivation. We were discussing this during the break. So a skill to acquire is not the best translation here, because sometimes this skill is still pretty superficial, and acquire. It's something that we have to try to develop over time through efforts, through our constant practices. We have to get rid of all the forms. Okay, the forms meaning, it can mean the 4 forms, right? The 4 images. Do we still remember what they are? The 4 images. Yeah, the I,
the
you, and then personality, and also the
sentient
life. Yeah. Right. Because when we still have these forms, we still have the duality. We will still have all the judgments, all the likes and dislikes, acceptance and rejection. And when we have this, then we will still be in reincarnation. And then Qi Zhi is to get rid of the attachments. Yeah. So these are all the essential skills or the essential things that we have to prepare ourselves over time if we want to be successful in cultivation. Yeah, because when we still have attachment, our mind is not free. We are still subject to all this, the 5 elements, which is something we will talk about a little while later. Okay, and then every time Buddha visited, or in all kinds of sutras, all kinds of Buddhist scriptures, all talk about get rid of the forms and attachments. Just like the line in the Diamond Sutra, it says, 离一切相，离诸相，即什么名佛, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Lecture Kite, can you explain this to a class?
What's that?
离相名佛.
Yeah, it just means to relinquish or let go of all form. It's called the Buddha. It's also, yeah, you have to, because why? A Buddha has no form. I mean, our Buddha is an essence, right? Essence is formless. It's really indescribable. It's formless. You can say it's that true emptiness, right? I mean, it's the essence, okay? And then, but everything comes from the essence, and it's permanent, right? So the Buddha, our Buddha nature is eternal, right? It has the 4 nirvana virtues. That's the form. And then, whereas all forms is what? Not permanent, right? It's permanent. It's always changing. It's always changing, right? And it has no what? It has what's called anatta, right? It has no self, right?
No essence.
Yeah, no essence. Yeah, no self, no essence, right?
Yeah.
That's anatta, right? Right?
So when we still have these forms, when we still kind of differentiate ourselves from other people, then we will still have the judgment, we have the criticism, we have the like or dislike, and we will have anger, we will have resentment, and
Dualistic.
then that's going to still keep us in this life and death cycle. And then earnest aspiration and everlasting sincerity is the attitude to adopt in transcending mundanity. Okay, so always we need to have a very solid and firm, resolute resolve in Tao cultivating. If we don't have that solid, the firm aspiration, today I might be very enthusiastic, but the next day I might totally lose my interest or my faith in the Tao. Then we are making no progress. And also the everlasting sincerity is also a very important attitude or stance in order for us to rise above the mundane. Sincerity, that's the emphasis or the focal point in the doctrine of the mean. It's almost everything. Okay, that's why in the 5 constant virtues, in the diagram, the sincerity is put in the middle, because this is like supporting the four sides. Without the sincerity, then there's nothing else. Just like what the doctrine of mean says, if there's no sincerity, then nothing exists. Okay, and there are also a few lines that I'd like to share with you from the doctrine of the mean. It says, sincerity is the way of heaven, and to be sincere or honest is the way of man. When one is extremely honest or sincere, he foresees things to happen. Therefore, the extremely honest can be compared to supernatural beings. So when one is very sincere, it means that he's sincere not only to other people, but also to himself. And most importantly, he is sincere or being faithful to his Buddha nature. And it means that our Buddha nature is put to work 100%. And that gives us very, unlimited power, because we are using our Buddha nature to guide us. So this is very important. And this is also a lesson I learned coming to the temple, a very important lesson. Without sincerity, no matter how capable we are, it's not going to take us anywhere. We might be able to achieve success in certain area, but that's going to be short-lived. It might not be contributing towards our virtue, because if we don't have the sincerity, we might become proud or arrogant, and that's actually really hurting our virtue and hurting our relationship with people. And the last one, establishing merit and virtue is the path to follow in becoming a Buddha. So when we cultivate, these are the things that we have to be doing constantly. It's not like we only do this at a certain time. So this is an ongoing efforts that we have to always do. So this is there's a saying that in heaven there is no Buddha or no Bodhisattva who has not performed merit or who has no virtue. Okay, yeah. So in order for us to become a Buddha, we have to do externally good things for other people, and internally always elevate ourselves, elevate our spirituality, so that what's all left there is our Buddha nature, no impurities. Okay, so without merits and virtue, we cannot. There's no talk of being enlightened.
So these are like the four header scriptures. Okay, so again, these are all the formality or propriety that all Buddhas perform when they enter a temple. They always should pay respect to Lao Mu, okay, our heavenly mother, creator. Okay, so this is again God's merciful instruction. Okay, remember the first. Well, actually, there are two other merciful instruction by Lao Mu. One is in one of Taiwan's temple. The second one is, I'm not sure, Jinjiang's lecture Thai?
New Zealand.
New Zealand? Okay. And the third till the sixth were done in America. So in New York, we have the three, right? The three hearts in mind. And then the four. Remember what lecture Thai talk about in Ohio? The four, no. 四难成义, right? 四难. Yeah, because
the four
difficulties.
Or something.
No, stay away from the four appearances.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then this now becomes the 五, okay, the fifth, okay. And if you look at the words with red underline, yeah, okay. It says 五行跳出. Number five, yeah.
So which the first two? New Zealand and where? Taiwan?
The first one is done in
Taiwan.
Yifogong, and it talks about the one, the very essence.
One.
Yeah. Yeah, the essence of,
That
and
has
that's the,
sequence.
it's like the first treasure of the three treasures.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the essence. That's the
20.
fundamental. Yeah.
And then two is where?
Number two, I'm not sure.
New Zealand.
No, but it's 二系. No, 二字.
Okay. Yeah, so if you look at the underlying words, the four words means 五行跳出. Okay, the 五行 in English means the five elements. Okay, you know Johnny, do you remember the five elements?
Yeah, those. Earth, right?
Earth, water, fire,
Earth, water, fire,
wood,
metal,
metal.
and wood. Yeah, it's actually on the blackboard.
The five
Okay,
constants.
yeah, and they corresponds to the five constant virtues and also the five precepts which Holy Teacher talks about in our scripture. Okay, these are very important concepts in cultivation, whether it's also in Buddhism. Okay, so in middle is trust or sincerity, and the opposite would be the delusion. Okay, one of the five precepts. Okay, and this is the element of the earth, and to the east, this is benevolence. Okay, so the opposite of that, the precept, is kill. Okay, and it's represented by wood. And to the west, okay, it's righteousness, and the opposite would be the steel. Okay, and it's represented by metal. To the north, this is north, it's wisdom, and the opposite would be like alcohol. So when we are not wise enough, we might become intoxicated.
Toxic.
Yeah, okay, and it's represented by water. Okay,
Delusional.
and the south would be propriety. Okay, or you say what is propriety? The can also be like rituals,
Yeah.
Regulations. Okay, and the opposite would be the lust.
Lust, yeah.
We say sexual misconduct, right? And then it's represented by fire. Yeah, so these are quite important concepts
Passion.
to remember. So if we still have that five, bad qualities, steal, kill, lies, or delusional, thinking or delusional speech, or we still have lust, we still are addicted to alcohol, then we cannot rise above all these five, the five elements. Yeah. So Holy Teacher, Holy Teacher in this Heavenly Mother's instruction, saying that we have to jump out of these five elements in order to really achieve Buddhahood or perfect enlightenment. Okay, so the first one is the 5 precepts must be observed in daily life. Actually, 恪守 means very strictly observed
Or
in
follow.
daily life.
Yeah.
So the 5 precepts: kill, steal, lust, alcohol, and also delusional behavior, conducts, like, talk about something that's not true. 行为举止和规章 our conduct and manners must conform to regulations. Okay, yeah, actually, Lecturer Jean talked about that just now. I just want to add that this is not only just in like a temple or at work. More importantly is how we conduct ourselves when no one's around. Because when we can still do things properly, when we are still dignified in private, then that's true virtue. Yeah, and also, even when we don't have people around, there are still many different, we say the invisible things around, spirits, Buddhas and saints. And remember, we all have our recording angels with us at all times. Yeah, and when we do good, when we have some bad thoughts, then we also attract bad things. Yeah, that's why our mindset is very important, because this is the energy, and when we emit negative energy, we are going to attract negative energy. Yeah, this is something that one of our the seniors share with us. So we have to be very mindful of what we are always thinking about. Yeah. So we have to live out of the bounds of name and forms. Okay. I'm not going to talk about, because it's already Lecturer Jane already talked about that. And we also have to remove the mask of the secular emotion. What are the secular emotions? Yeah, it can be say like hatred. It can also mean like jealousy, envy. Yeah, or anger, complaints and things like that. Hatred. Or also like keeping up with the desire to keep up with the Joneses, right? Jones, sorry. Yeah. You want to be like powerful. Want to be to be wealthy. Yeah. Or sometimes even at temple, in this place of cultivation, there's be some kinds of different. I would say. We say when we cultivate, we have to cultivate in accordance with the principle, not cultivate because of our liking for certain people and our dislike for other people, right? Some people come to temple because they say, because this person is here, I stay here. But if the person is not here, then he's not coming or he's following the person to other temple. That's not motive. Right.
There's an ulterior motive.
Yeah, right.
Your way.
Yeah. Remember, we have to follow the golden thread. Yeah. So our golden thread, it's we have talked about that. I'm not going to spend more time here. Okay. Now, these are the scriptures. As God's good children, we must bear in mind beneficial words. Okay. So the beneficial words actually here refer to what our Lao Mu is going to share with us, going to teach us. Okay, so we have to always remember their teachings and their expectation of us. 供逢大 encounter universal salvation. Okay. We are so fortunate to be in this era where Tao is available to whoever has the affinity, whoever who has good virtue. Okay, so it also means that we already have accumulated sufficient good affinity, so we can come across, we can cross path with the Tao. Yeah. So we must not take it lightly. The more I am at temple, and the more things we observe, the more we realize that receiving the Tao is not something. It's not a random act. Okay. It takes a lot. Okay. We need to have very virtuous ancestors, right? We also need to have very good affinity with like our introducer, our guarantors. We also need to have enlightened masters, okay? And we also need to have the mercy of our, Heavenly Mother to descend this star on all of us, okay? So our Tao mind must be firm and solid. So we should not wave, okay? So one day we are very, like sometimes right fresh out of the Dharma class, people might become very enthusiastic, and there are people who might be very interested in the Tao during the Dharma class, but maybe after the Dharma class, a week passed and Tao is not with them anymore. Okay, so for all of us who are always here, we really need to, congratulate ourselves, because we have that good affinity, we have that foundation, that's bring us back to the temple again and again. So we have to have very firm Tao mentality, and we have to have a temperament, must be above the vulgar. It's very easy, in this, especially in America, where there's plenty of everything. It's very easy to lose direction and to follow the trend. Whatever is trendy. What people do, like what they wear or what they do, in their leisure time. Playing games.
It's fashionable.
Yeah, fashionable.
Come and go.
I heard now in China there are people they want to make easy money. They become a celebrity on the web. They broadcast their own video and they perform things, sing. Oh, okay. And sometimes with some money, if they are if they do certain bad things, for example, removing cladding their clothes, then they might be promised some monetary rewards, and people don't want to really
They just want money.
just easy money, but we are cultivators, so whatever we do must always project that image that we have very proper mindset and we have very dignified manners. Whatever is not appropriate, we should not do, we should not say. And so we have to also practice the truth, the principles that we learn very earnestly, very seriously, and then this way our mind can restore its purity. Different people will have different level when they receive the Tao. So it takes longer for some people to really be in tune with their Buddha nature, but it might take longer for others to do that. But don't lose faith. Okay. Sometimes even when we become very busy at work or with our family, we might not be as diligent, might not be as active in the temple affairs, but never just come to a standstill. If we have to take baby steps, we do, but just always move forward. God help those who help themselves. A dedication makes one stand out. Okay, well, this is very quite self-evident. When we have learned all these principles, but if we don't really put into action, if we don't do things to benefit others, to help others, then this they just don't mean anything to us, to anyone. And so it's very hard for you to say someone who is just about selfish, someone who is selfish to be very successful, or to be well received or recognized by people. Although we don't really look for recognition, but it's just a very natural result. If we are selfless and we do whatever we can at any time to help other peoples, then definitely will be remarkable. Yeah, if you look at the predecessors in the temple, in all temples, you know how dedicated they were to other people and how much achievement they have accomplished. And for us, the best achievement, it's not like we get a very high position in our company, in our workplace. The best is that when we can really restore our Buddha nature, that we can really really understand the principles and really put them into practice, and to help ourselves and help others. We've also vowed to keep company with sages and be a man of integrity and aspiration. Okay. Yeah. So remember, after we receive the Tao and during the three treasure review, we are often encouraged to stay at the temple, stay close to temple, stay close to virtuous people, right? Yeah, because we are the company we keep. When we stay close to people who are always very kind, who always want to help people, who always want to make progress in their cultivation, we will always, follow their examples, will be inspired, right? And we also make progress ourselves. And this 大丈夫 literally means a big. 丈夫 in Chinese can mean husband, but it can figuratively it means a person of responsibility, a person who has lofty goals,
Great stature.
yeah, a person who has integrity, yeah.
大丈夫
Mhm.
I think that's a title, right, for Buddha too, right? One of the 10 titles. Is that right?
Okay, I'm not
I think
sure.
so,
Yeah,
Doesn't
but
matter.
yeah, in Chinese culture, if we praise a person, a man especially, if we think he has very good virtue, that he's the person of integrity, of responsibility, we say he is 个大丈夫.
Does it also mean a noble man?
Yeah, you can say
Noble.
noble.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think here the emphasis is on being integrity, having that integrity and the sense of responsibility, that you are someone that's accountable. Okay, now to discipline yourselves. Demand of action should be yourself, because this is our Heavenly Mother's teaching to us. So I think it's better to use you, okay, yourself, to have a calm and peaceful heart. Yeah. Yeah. So when we know how to restrain our heart and mind, that we don't have this wandering mind and thought, then our heart will always be very calm and very peaceful. I'm sorry, time's up. Okay.
You can still, I think
They have 半道, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can continue.
Okay. All right. Then the next line is 修行者风骨超然不染污. 风骨, okay, here 风 actually means the spirit, or we say the demeanor, and the 骨 is like the bone, okay, but it really refers, I would say it refers to essence, what's inside. 风 is words projected outside, and then 骨 is like on the inside.
Inner and outer.
Yeah, the inner and outer, that it's always very dignified and very pure, very proper, and it's not like affected or tarnished by what the circumstances are. No, maybe in certain society or at certain times, people are all doing something like take advantage of their social status to gain their personal for their personal gains. But a person a true cultivator, or maybe we say a noble person, he would not follow suit. He would do what is right, what is in accordance with the Tao. So maintain the true countenance. What is our true countenance? It's our true nature, right? Okay. So actually, this true countenance can have a lot of connotations. Okay. It's not just how we look on the outside. It's what's inside and reflects on the outside. We have the 5 constant virtues. So when we do this, then we have good virtue, right? And when we have good virtue, then we are not alone. We are not lonesome. Then we always have friends. Okay. So this is this line actually alludes to the analects. It says, 得不孤必有邻. 得不孤 孤 just it means lonely, alone, solitary. Yeah, it means that we have good virtue. Then we will have neighbor. It means we will have friends. Yeah, because when we have very good virtue, naturally we'll attract people. Yeah.
People will like that.
Right. And of course, when we have virtue, we always try to make friends with people. We try to create good affinity, like 仙佛说结善缘, right? So we always have friends. Like Chokai, you have something?
Yeah, see, the difference between the Liu Su, right? Liu Su is people want to attract people, so they have 5 minutes of fame, or they go on YouTube or whatever, they do something crazy. So they use fame or power or wealth to attract people, to make themselves known, right? See, that's the Liu Su, that's the common way. You can say that's the common way, the ordinary way. You can say that's the vulgar way. Okay? You really want to be negative about it. Whereas the virtuous way is you have to be virtuous. You have to be, what's that? That 丰富. Yeah, the inner and outer, our demeanor, our thoughts and our actions has to be pure, in accordance with our Buddha nature, you can say it that way. Then when you do that, that's the proper way, that's how you will attract people. You will gain fame, or whatever you want to call it. You want to gain, you'll be known. Okay? See, so that's the other way. That's how we cultivators should be followed. Right? We don't follow the Liu Su, right? The trend, the trendy way, the fashionable way, the popular way, whatever. Right? We don't do it that way.
Okay.
So we have to learn, we have to understand. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much. So if we really want to make good friends, all we need to do is to just conduct ourselves properly, conduct ourselves well. Naturally, people will become our friends. We don't have to do snobbish things like polishing the apple or saying something, like delusional. Praise somebody. What do you call it?
Giving them gifts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Some people do that.
And then do not covet wealth and materials. Do not become slave to emotions. How often do we? I guess maybe for a lot of temple staff members here, they may not really kind of like they already let go some of the material needs or wants, right? The wants, material wants. But I think the more difficult things to overcome is our sentiments, our emotions. When we hear something against us, our very natural reaction is to maybe to defend or sometimes to contend, right? But this is not this is not good to do. We should be always at peace with ourselves. Yeah. If people say something against us, we can think if what they say is true. If it's true, then of course we try to correct ourselves. If what they say is not true, we still want to think, why do they say such thing to us, right? We can use that as kind of a reminder. And just in any circumstances, we want to make sure that we always think the right thing, the right thoughts, do the right things, then our heart will not be affected by what's happening on the outside. I think before I came to I received this Tao and came to the temple. I think maybe on certain areas I was doing very well, but I sometimes cannot really control my sentiments of my emotions. I am the person who like to corner myself, right? 钻到胡同里面, right? And it gives me a lot of suffering. But after I learned about all these principles, and I know that these are all, delusion. But of course, it doesn't mean that we just totally disregard them. When some people say something, we still need to listen and see if there's any validity. Yeah. Okay. But if we are very confident in what we are doing, then we can kind of just disregard and just always maintain our peacefulness, maintain our Buddha nature. So we have to be master of our own life. Okay, don't let others influence us, and let alone the material wants, the greed or anger, resentment. So we have to always strive hard with an unfailing determination. Okay, yeah. So this is very important. The unfailing determination is something that's going to help us carry on till the end of our last breath. It's very important. I mean, sometimes we might be very full of drive, full of determination. But if it's not everlasting, if it's only transient, then that's not going to help. So if we follow or whatever Holy Teacher said, then we will be very happy on this path of cultivation. Yeah. So that's we have to have the proper mind or the proper view of what is happiness. Okay, yeah, that's very important. If we still think being rich or being able to vacation in different resorts, or if we can really still make a lot of money and enjoy material comfort, then that's not the true happiness, right? The true happiness is that just like Yan Hui, he was in a very very bad situation materially. He couldn't even have enough to eat every day, and he lived in a very run-down neighborhood, but still he was very happy because he realized he already got this Buddha nature, and that's sufficient. That's self-sufficient. And with a proactive stance, you will overcome difficulties. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of times people will lose heart in front of when they are faced with setbacks or difficulties. But a person with a strong mind will realize that inside, underneath the difficulties lies the breakthrough and the opportunities for us to progress, to to excel, to be outstanding. Yeah, so we have to use our proactivity to turn this the difficulty, the crisis, into an opportunity to learn and to grow. Our heart and mind must be clear and will not rise and fall with circumstances. Yeah, so when something happens, we should not quickly jump to a conclusion or quickly judge. Okay, we should always have our Buddha nature guide us, help us make the right decision, and then our emotions, our heart and mind will not go ups and downs. No matter what happens, we have a very clear idea of what's going on, okay, then we do whatever we have to do, okay. And if we do our best and we still don't get the result that we want, then it's probably, you know, beyond our control, and we also let go. Don't be obsessed. Rejoice at others' achievements without jealousy. Letting go will give us redemption. Okay, so you know, envy or jealousy is something very bad that we need to eliminate as a cultivator, or if we really want to be. If we want to be successful, if we want to live a happy life, then we need to get rid of the jealousy. You know how that's, you know, biting our heart, right, hurting our.
It's very poisonous.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all probably have. Well, myself, you know, I was the person who, well, I want to be like on the top. Okay, I wanted to be on the top, and I want to be like better than other people. And when somebody, you know, like when I was at middle school, at college, and if I didn't do well, then, you know, I would feel bad. And it's just because, like, you know, I'm not on the top. But that really gives me a lot of agony. Yeah, and I think I've slowly let go of that, and I think I'm really just learn to be happy when other people are doing very well, and we also try to learn from them, and that really gives me, you know, unconditional joy.
Yeah, Holy Teacher says
Mhm.
when somebody is good, you should did something good, you should be happy for them. One day when it happens to be your turn, others will be happy for you. So
Yeah.
what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
one of the four immeasurable lines.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. And so when we can truly let go of all this, you know, like attachments, this actually when we talk about wu, okay, in Chinese the wu, the material, it can mean, you know, something more material. It can also mean something like anger. You know, we say xin wu, you know, material at heart, greed, envy, jealousy, anger, and things like that. When we don't have those bad feelings, then we can be truly happy. Then we can be really redeemed.
Those are
Right?
harder to get rid of, material.
Yeah. A magnanimous heart is forgiving. Okay, when a person is truly broad-minded, then he's always, or she is always forgives people. Even sometimes they were done wrong, people got them wrong. They wouldn't be upset with that. They can just, you know, smile and, you know, shrug the shoulder and let it go. Honesty and sincerity will free us from worries. Okay, and when we are very sincere and we are very honest people, truly, honesty and sincerity, then we always, when we don't have those you know, bad feelings about people, then we don't have any worry anymore. I guess you can also relate to this, right? Yeah. So the opposite of you know, honesty and sincere people is the someone who is not honest, not sincere, and usually these people are always very selfish. Everything they do has to be for their own good, right? In the analect, there's a word. There are two lines. Is that 小人常戚戚. 小人, you know, a petty-minded person is always very, you know, upset, or he's always very he's always worried because he's afraid that someday someone is going to take. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get caught. That's one thing. Or his maybe his own thing, his possession, or, you know, whatever he has will be taken away from him. Yeah. But 君子坦荡荡. Okay. A person of fine cultivation, or a noble person, a superior person, he always has a broad mind. Yeah, and it's always happy.
It's also mentioned in
Mm-hmm.
the Pure and Tranquility Sutra.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
清净
上人互增，下人好
Yeah.
增。
Mm-hmm.
Something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, so a person of
Virtuous person, they
mhm.
just
That's not content.
yeah, mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
only the people who has a lot of,
Right.
selfishness, they want
Mm.
to gain something, they want, so they start playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to fight for what they
But
want.
they want to fight.
Yeah, I think maybe someday we can start doing the book of virtue, because there's so much wisdom in the book. Yeah, there are also lines saying like the water, it has no selfish interest. It benefits so many people, but in this process, it kind of its own virtue, it just kind of shines through.
I forgot which sutra it was, but water is actually described as a nature. It's actually
Mm-hmm.
a quality.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The quality 水的品格. Thank you. So selflessness elevates us above karmic fate and frees us from shackles. So when we don't have the ego, okay. When we don't have the ego, it means that we do whatever we can. We are all altruistic. Okay, whatever we do is for the benefits of people, and of course this also means that we have good virtue and we also have good merits, right? And of course, with merit and virtue, then we can really get rid of the control. We can really jump out of the control of our karmic fate. Okay. So they say, sometimes fortune teller, they can tell, some people have that ability, and they can really tell a person's fate. Okay. Very accurately, but they cannot do so to a cultivator, because a cultivator's merits and virtue, they will interfere with, the karmic fate. Okay. I guess time is up. I'm sorry I couldn't quite finish everything. If I say anything wrong or inappropriate, I ask for forgiveness of Buddhas and saints, and also I ask you to correct me. Thank you.